Hello everyone, this is Julie with Craft with Julie, and this is the video for our Wander workshop. I'll be walking you through the cutting for our virtual craft day projects that we'll be creating on July 24th. So if you want to grab your Wander scrapbooking workshop kit and the coordinating cardstock pack and your cutter, and we can cut together. This month was a little bit different. I did our supply list, and then I realized that the Wander scrapbooking workshop kit had everything we needed, plus additional die cuts and things like that. So I'm like, that would be so cool to be able to do the projects in this workshop and then to do even more. So that was the inspiration for July. Again, we'll be doing these projects on July 24th, the virtual craft day. So we're going to do 3 layouts, 6 cards, and a 6x6 layout. But then you can also follow along with me all month long, and we'll be creating more projects with the extras that we don't cut and set aside for our projects today. So for the 24th virtual craft day, I just wanted to quickly show you, here are the 6 cards that we're going to be cutting for today. So these 2 and these 2. So those are the 6 cards. Here is the 6x6 layout that we're going to be creating, and here are I keep them all in a small organizer that Close My Heart carries, and it keeps it all nice and tidy for me. So that's how I keep everything together. So let me see if I can. It's hard to lay these out in a camera, but there's one of the layouts we'll be creating, and here is another one right here. Those colors so much fun. And then the last one is this one right here with that really pretty bright sun paper. Okay, so those are the projects we'll be doing July 24th. And like I said, we'll follow along all month long, and I'm going to be creating even more. I have some fun ideas, so I'm excited to share. If you haven't purchased your products yet, you can find all the supplies you need on juliescott.closetomyheart.com. And I will put, here are the item numbers really fast. And then I also put a list in the description of the video, so you can check that out. But when you purchase your products online, I will send you this workshop guide for free. It has all the cutting, pictures, and written instructions. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I have my Post-it note. You know, I all love how I keep organized. So on the first page, we're just going to pull out, let me grab my coordinating cardstock and I'll just pull it out and put it on my table. Okay, so we're going to pull out one of the sage pieces, and this is, sage is the light green. That is going to be for our base. And then a white piece of cardstock for our other side. So these 2 you can just set aside for the base. Okay, now we need the star pattern. Just grab your pattern paper, and here is the star right here. And we just need 2 that measure 4, there we go, 4 by 12. I even got a new blade. So exciting when you get a new blade. Everything's so smooth. Okay, the next one is the icon paper, and that is this one right here. And we need 4.5 by 12. So I'm going to cut off this zip strip, which is about a 1/2 inch, and set that aside. Then I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to cut at 4.5. Okay, and then this one is 4. Did I do 4.5 on that one? Yes. To double check. So 4 inches. Okay, now we need 2 of the orange plus and circle zip strips. So that is one of them that we just cut off. So we're just going to set that in our pile. And then find the other one, which is right here. And cut that off. And stick that one in our pile as well. And the next one is Glacier Cardstock, and that is the light blue. Right here, so light blue. And we need 2 of them that measure 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So 6 1/4 would be about right here. And then 4 1/4. These are going to be photo mats. 4 1/4. Okay. Now we need a 4 1/4 by 9 3/4. So 4 1/4. And then I'm going to pull out my arm. Okay, so I am left-handed, so I have my, this is how I have my setup. Sometimes people like to have the long arm up at the top, but this is how I like to do it. So keep that in mind if you're like, she cuts funny. I'm left-handed. Okay, so that was 4 1/4 by 9 3/4. So cut it however, use your trimmer, however it works for you. Okay, so now we need a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. This is another photo mat. And then Sage Cardstock, which is that light green again. 3 1/2 by 12. And then I'm not going to cut them now, but you can use white strips for journaling, so 1/4 inch white strips. So I'm just going to leave those off for now so you can customize it to your layout. So that's all you need for layout number 1. So I'm just going to set them on top of those base pages so we're ready to go. Layout number 2, we need 2 Sundance cardstocks. And Sundance is like the orange color, the light orange, yellowy orange. So I'm going to set those aside. And then the landscape pattern, which is this one right here, we're going to cut, let's see, let's do the 8 1/2 by 12 first, because that is this one right here. So I'm going to cut off this top piece, and we're going to use that as well. So put that in your pile, and I'm going to cut this 8 1/2 first. So that's this, oh, you can't even see this side right here. And then this should be 3 1/2. And so we can just set that aside. So we basically use that whole thing. And then the Peacock Pattern paper, which is this one, we're going to cut it at 4 and 7 3/4. And then this one, 4 and 3 1/2. So I can just use that same piece. Okay, so now the yellow zip strips, we already have one of them. So we just need to find the other one, which is right here on the other side. and it's about a 1/2 inch. So I just line it up with the 1/2 inch mark and cut that. Okay, now for all of our fun photo mats, use the Peacock, which is this nice, pretty dark blue color. And first one is 7 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to do 5 1/4 because my trimmer has kind of this funny thing right where it should be the 4th, so I can line it up better. Actually, that's not going to matter. I'm going to have to do it anyway. So 5 1/4. Oh, and 7 1/4. So I'm just going to have to guess a little bit right there. Darn it, I was trying to cheat that, but it didn't work. Okay, so next one is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So 6 1/4 and 4 1/4. Let's see if I can move this down a little. Maybe that'd be helpful. Sorry. That better? I think so. Okay. And then the next one is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And the last one is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I think this one, 4 1/4, 3 1/4. So you almost use that whole piece. And then a piece of white cardstock that measures 2 by 2. Two inches. Oh, this new blade is amazing. It's cutting everything so nicely. Okay, 2 by 2. And that is all for layout number 2. So I'm just going to set that aside. Okay, layout number 3. We are just moving right along. Layout number 3 is we're going to use 2 paprika. So paprika is kind of the darker orange. So these 2 right here. I'm going to set those aside. And then the sage pattern. I couldn't remember what it was called. It's like topography, or I couldn't remember. So we're basically going to, so I called it the sage pattern. At 6 inches. So we're 6 by 12, and we're just going to do that for both. Basically, we're just going to cut off the zip strip. And we're going to need this, so let's just stick it in our pile. Okay, now Glacier cardstock. That is the light blue right here. And we need 2 of these, and they measure 1/2 inches. So when I measure it's kind of the small measurements, I do it off to the left. So my trimmer has measurements on the left hand side, so that way my paper kind of stays straighter. So those are 1/2 inch strips. Okay, now the Peacock, which is the dark blue, is 1 1/2 by 12. So I'm going to do it off to the right again. So 1 1/2 by 12. Just make sure it lines up top to bottom. There we go. And then the icon zip strip, which we already cut one of them. So now we're going to find the other, which is right here. And it's about 1/2 inch. I'm just going to cut it on the 1/2 inch mark. Okay, and then yellow pattern. So the yellow pattern is on the back of this scenic one, and we're going to cut 3 1/4 and 4 1/4. So it's going to be a photo mat. And then now we need 2, oh, I should have done 6. We're going to do 6 1/4 and 2 4 1/4. Those are also going to be photo mats. And then some white cardstock. There's one right here, so it's 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. And then again, some of those strips for journaling, which we will wait to do those. So that is layout number 3. Just gonna stick that in a pile on top of the other ones. And now let's cut for the cards. Okay. All right, so the Peacock Pattern paper, which is this guy right here, we need to cut 1/4 of an inch. So that's that very first long line. And we need 4 inches. We need 2 of those. One and 2. Okay. Okay, so this, we need Glacier Cardstock for the thin cut. So Glacier Cardstock is this lighter. I wonder if this will, no, it's not big enough. Will this one be big enough? It might. Yes. So if you have this strip left over, so I'm just going to cut it at 4 1/4 and 4 1/4, and then you can cut the water, like the lake looking thin cut. And then the sage cardstock, which is that green, we're going to do 4 by 4, and we need 2 of those. I will do the thin cuts on our craft day. I'll just do them with you. So don't worry about doing the thin cuts ahead of time. I'm going to just put these on top because that's a bigger piece. Okay, so now let's just grab some white and 2 3/4 by 6. So we need 3 of those, 2 3/4. And I'm going to cut it again at 2 3/4 and at 6. So I'm going to show you how we're going to just fold these in half and do 2 thin cuts at a time. And I'll show you how to do that on our craft day. Okay, so there's 3 of those. It's for our mountains. And then we need 1/4 by 2. So here's 2 inches. There's one of the long ones. And 1 1/4. That will be for our trees. And I think that's it. So the reason why there's only 6 cards this time is because there's going to be a lot of techniques and die cutting. So I thought doing more than that might be a little too much. Okay, so now let's go to 3 and 4. So we're going to cut 1 1/2 by 1 3/4. Okay, so let's do the 1 3/4 and then 1 1/2. That's going to be for our sentiment. And 1 3/4 and 1 1/2. All right. Okay, now we need 1 by 1, and this is going to be for our little s'more. I wonder, I'm just going to leave it like this. So 1 1 by 2 because we're going to cut the s'more out of that. And then we need a 4 by 3/4. And this we're going to stamp on. Yes, there we go. Okay, so now some Glacier cardstock is 1/2 inch by 4. And we need 2 of those. Oops, there we go. And then the Peacock cardstock, the darker, we need a 4th by 4. Oh, do I dare do that? I think I'm just going to do a long one. Sometimes cutting, it's just easier to cut with the longer. And we need 4 of those. So we need 1. Oops, make sure it's straight. 2, 3, and 1 more. Is 4. Yeah, 4. Okay. Now the Peacock pattern. Oh, sorry, Peacock cardstock. So we need to do 1 3/4 by 2. We need 2 of those because we're going to make 2 of each of these. And then the yellow pattern. Let's see, we need 4. Oh, hopefully I didn't mess this one up. Let's see, we have more of that somewhere. Four by 3.5. So how big is this one? That is not 3.5. This one is. That one is not. Darn it. I'm not sure how I messed that one up. Okay. So I'm going to have to improvise on that one. So hold off on cutting that one. I'll figure it out. We might just have to change that color to something else. So hold on. Okay, so now we're going to do some sage. Okay, you know what? I'm going to cut this out of Glacier. So let's, instead of the yellow pattern, let's do 4 or do 3.5. By 4, and we'll just have that just in case. Okay, that will work. Okay, so next we need sage. Sorry, I didn't put what color that was. So the sage is for the trees. So we're going to cut this at 4 inches by 1.5. So then we can double them up and cut our die cuts at the same time. Okay, and we'll do that all together on the 24th. And then we need a 3/4 by 1, 3 3/4 by 1 and a 1/4, and we need 2 of those. and we'll cut those out as well. Okay, now for the last one. Just stick these off to the side. Okay, so we need sage cardstock again. Hopefully I just didn't use all of it. Oh boy. Where's that Glacier? Oh, never mind. We're good. So we're going to cut maybe I didn't leave enough sage. See, it's funny, it worked out when I cut it the first time. Okay, so what we're going to do is use this one right here, and we're going to do 5.5 by 3/4. It wouldn't be a craft day if I didn't mess up somehow. I feel like I tried really hard. Oh geez. Okay, so now we're going to do 4 1/4 by 3.5. And those match perfectly. So there's 2 of those. The yellow pattern, I don't think, well, yeah, we have a long enough one. So 5.5 by 1/2. There we go. And some white cardstock. It is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to do 3 3/4. I think this is 2 3/4 already. Awesome. And 3 3/4. That is not big enough. Let me grab another piece. Okay. So let's do 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. All right, the last one is the Peacock Cardstock. So that's the dark blue, and it's going to be 3 inches by 4 inches. And we need 2 of those. All right. Okay, last thing is our 6 by 6 layout. Hopefully I left enough paper. It worked out the first time. I'm not sure why it's not working out now. Okay, here we go. The icon paper. So this one right here, we're going to cut at 6 inches by 6 inches. So these will be our base. Okay. Then Peacock Cardstock, we need 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and we need 2 of those. Those are going to be our photo mats. And oh, we need more peacock. Hold on. We need a 1/2 by 6. So I'm going to cut this at the 1/2 mark and 6 inches. 2 of those. Okay, and then Glacier Cardstock, we need 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. These are also going to be photo mats. And the yellow pattern paper, oh, that was popular. I don't know why I thought I had so much of it. It's probably down here in the bottom of the pile or fell off my desk or something. Oh man, so 6 inches by a half. I need 2 of those. Okay, and then the topical map pattern. Oh, see, I got technical on this one. We need see, I'll find one that's 6 inches. There we go. 1.5 by 6. So you can see we're pretty much using all of our pieces. So it's gonna be fun to use all those extras in the workshop kit to make even more things. Okay, white cardstock, we need 1.5 by 1.5. Let's see what this little guy is. So 1.5 by 1.5. Okay, so that is it for our Wander workshop. So you have all these extras, so put them off to the side, and we're going to be using them in more projects this month. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. All the fun little icons and things. So if you still need supplies, you can grab them on my website, and which is juliescott.closetomyheart.com. You'll want to grab the Wander Scrapbooking Workshop Kit, which is G1234NP, or if you want page protectors included, you just take the NP off, and it's just G1234. There's just a difference in price because one has page protectors, one doesn't, so it's totally up to you. You'll want to get the Wander Coordinating Cardstock package, and you'll also want to get the Wander Card Making Stamp Set and Thin Cuts for the cards that we're creating. And also we're going to be using Peacock ink, Glacier ink, and Intense Black. And then if you would prefer the Wander Card Making workshop instead, we will be creating those this month, and along with some additional projects with that. So there is that option as well. Please let me know if you have any questions. Just set these pieces aside until the 24th, and then I will walk you through each project on that day. I will put an agenda up in the Craft with Julie page and group, so you can see what times. We usually start around 9 a.m. Mountain Time, and then we just kind of go from there depending on how long the projects take. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'm super excited to craft with you this month, and I will see you guys soon for our first project. See ya, bye.